Yeah, it's difficult. It was difficult for me as a Black woman watching that video. And it
Mm.
was even more difficult for me as the officer kneeled on his neck for him to be screaming, mama, like screaming for his mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like at some point, where is or when is it going to be enough is enough, Adrian? Like it's too much. It's like every day we look in the news and it's just like people walking around like racism don't exist. And it's time for us to stand up for what we believe in, stand up for what we know is right, hold our counterparts accountable. I think that's been the conversation the most for me this past week, Adrian, is just how do I operate in a space with my counterparts who are silent on this right now? Like you couldn't dare be my friend and you sitting silent right now. Like you not using any platform that you got to speak up and say wrong is wrong. Like this man and three other officers participated in the killing of a Black man. Like enough is enough. And it's just like, it's mind-blowing to me, just everything that has happened with the young man that was jogging to the young lady that's the EMT sleep in her apartment, Adrian. Like at what point do we say enough is enough? Like it's more than just at this point a hashtag on my shirt. It's more at this point than a hashtag on social media. Like what are we going to do at this point to stand up and say enough is enough and I'm tired of you killing Black folks?
You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me. Time. You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me. Time. You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me. Time. Time, time, where you going? Come back. Time, time, come back.
Hey, welcome everybody. It's your boy AKJ coming to you live, and we have another episode of Sunday Profile. And this Sunday we have Miss Fredrecka McGlown. I hope I got it right.
You did, Fred.
Yes. All right, there we go. Who is Arthur? She's a motivational speaker. She's a coach. She's a CEO. She is a superwoman. She is she's everything. She's a St. Louis icon, and I'm lucky to even. And she's a 5.
I am a live 5.
we live 5s. I'm a 5. Root to the Brush. Root to the Reds. Please welcome Miss Fredrecka to the show. How you doing today?
Thank you so much for having me, Adrian. Thank you so much. I'm excited.
No problem. So it's a lot going on in America right now. As you know, a couple of days ago, a young man by the name of George Floyd, who was killed on live camera by the police in Minneapolis. And I wanted to get your intake on how you felt about that, and what do you think we should do to move forward as a race.
Yeah, it's difficult. It was difficult for me as a Black woman watching that video. And it was even more difficult for me as the officer kneeled on his neck for him to be screaming mama, like screaming for his mom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like at some point, where is or when is it going to be enough is enough, Adrian? Like it's too much. It's like every day we look in the news and it's just like people walking around like racism don't exist. And it's time for us to stand up for what we believe in, stand up for what we know is right, hold our counterparts accountable. I think that's been the conversation the most for me this past week, Adrian, is just how do I operate in a space with my counterparts who are silent on this right now? Like you couldn't dare be my friend and you sitting silent right now. Like you not using any platform that you got to speak up and say wrong is wrong. Like this man and three other officers participated in the killing of a Black man. Like enough is enough. And it's just like, it's mind-blowing to me, just everything that has happened with the young man that was jogging to the young lady that's the EMT sleep in her apartment, Adrian. Like at what point do we say enough is enough? Like it's more than just at this point a hashtag on my shirt. It's more at this point than a hashtag on social media. Like, what are we going to do at this point to stand up and say enough is enough? And I'm tired of you killing Black folks. Like, it's too much at this point. And I don't know, Adrian. I'm hurt. Yesterday I'm working from home, bro. And my boss asked the question, everybody's cameras is on except the 3 Black folks. Mm-hmm. And she asked the question, if you had one word to describe this week, what would it be? And my counterparts, they are awesome, great, organized, amazing, wonderful, splendid. And you get to me, my camera is off, Adrian, my camera is off. And she say, Freddie, what's your word to describe the week? It's defeated. That's my word, defeated. But I'm determined to push through, Adrian. And you get to the next young lady after me, she's Black, she said what Freddie said, defeated. And you get to the last Black lady on the team and she said crazy. And your supervisor and your counterparts, they don't understand. They say, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, because they don't know what else to say. Like, what do you say? And so it hurt me, but I couldn't be hurt because I had to understand that they just don't understand. They just don't understand, Adrian. So it's loaded. It's loaded. I don't want to take away from your questions because I know you got questions about it. But
yeah, it was, and it comes to question like now Minneapolis, they have the riots and they have like the people that looting. And I was thinking about that earlier. I was saying like now I kind of agree with the looting. That's just me personally, because it's been Trayvon Martin, it's just name after name after name. Like we've been, we are essential workers. We keep America moving. And the things that we get is, and we get murdered on live television, we get followed, we get chastised, but we keep America moving. So I'm like, I kind of like, we deserve much more than what we get. So I kind of feel like, that's why I agree with looting, but I wanted to get your input on what you thought about how they are rioting in Minneapolis or protesting.
So I think one of the biggest things that people are not understanding, or our counterparts are not understanding, is that you can't tell me how to grieve. Let's be clear. You can't tell me how to grieve or how to feel at this point. You don't get the opportunity to tell me how I need to move in this situation. And I want to be clear when I say that. Dr. King said rioting is the language of the unheard. At first, we tried to be silent. Colin Kaepernick tried to kneel. Let's be clear. He tried to kneel. We tried to do silent protest. But at that point, you couldn't hear me. So at some point, I needed to turn it up just a little bit because you didn't hear me at that point. So now you hear me at this point. What I will say is I don't mind going out there getting on front line. And I think that has been clear from the Stockley verdict to other things that have happened in our community. I have not ever been afraid to get out there and do what was right, I think, Adrian. But what I will say is that I do not agree with tearing up the businesses that are ours in our community.
I do agree with that.
I want to be clear when I say that. Like you are taken out of your brother's hand and his mouth and his children's mouths. Yeah. So when you go and destroy that Black-owned business, I can't get with you on that. But when you make a stance and say, okay, we at the police station, then that looks different. And I want to be clear too, Adrian, because I'm wearing the letters Delta Sigma and Theta, and I don't speak for Delta Sigma Theta. I speak for Fredrecka McGlown, who's a member of Delta Sigma Theta. But I don't agree in that aspect. But I do believe that at this point, it's time for some action. It's definitely time for some action, and it's time for, yesterday I watched this dope Zoom, and I shared it on my social media, Adrian, and it's two of my friends, white women who are very active in the community, and they are now starting to have some conversations, and that makes my heart smile, because white women have been silent for so long. And to hear now that they trying to have some conversations, Adrian, and talk about some things that affect us, that are now affecting them, it makes my heart happy. But it's so much work that has to be done. I think people texting me, my phone going off left and right, especially my white friends, bro. And they like, what I need to do, what I need to do, what I need to do. And my main thing I say to them, Adrian, is what would you want me to do if it was you? Like, what you want me to do if it was you? Like, you help me. Like, what you want me to do?
Who you gonna call? What you want?
Exactly. And so today, what I did this morning, bro, I got up, I got on social media, and some thoughts that came to my head, and I just put them all together. It's maybe like 25, 30 thoughts on what white people can do to help us during this time. And I've gotten a lot of feedback from that text messages like, thanks so much, sis. We really appreciate that, because they don't really know what to do or how to start, Adrian. Like, that's the big thing about it. Like, it's so normal to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they go to they Thanksgiving dinners, they Christmas dinners, or they sit down at their kitchen table with their kids and they hear comments from each other and they don't even think nothing of it because it's so natural to them. And so it's like, where does the conversation start? And I have to explain, the conversation start with you. Like, it start with you and it end with you too. Yep. So I think that's important, bro. That's definitely important. Us standing up for our rights and others standing up for our rights too. That's where it begins.
What on to another issue that is in the concerns of presidential race. Joe Biden on the Breakfast Club has said, you ain't black if you don't vote for me. And I wanted to get your input, since you're in like the political world in St. Louis.
I think for me, I remember growing up, you was always taught not to talk about who you vote for. It's certain things you don't talk about. How much money in your bank account, what your credit score is, political issues, and who you gonna vote for. But I think the society that we live in today, we have to be vocal about those different things. And I mean, what Joe said wasn't right. I want to be clear when I say what Joe said wasn't right. But we can't keep inviting folks to the cookout and expect them not to pick up our lingo, our language, and how we talk. And I think what has happened is Joe done been to too many cookouts, maybe with Barack, maybe with Michelle, maybe with Simone Sanders, and he picked up some language that he heard, and he went back and said it at the wrong time in the wrong space. And what I will say is Charlemagne will bring that up out of you. Like, Charlemagne will tweak and bring that up out of you. But I was not offended by what Joe said. I actually agreed to what Joe said because it's what we've been saying all along. Like, if you ain't voting right, you ain't black. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't voting for the Democrats, or if you ain't voting for Biden, you ain't black. And I'm gonna be honest, I agree at this point. And I'm not saying that Joe Biden is 100% in everything that he is doing, but at this point, and it's sad to say, I just rather take the lesser of two evils at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, bro, like, I know Biden ain't all the way together, and Biden can't never understand the issues and the stuff we going through, but at least somebody that's trying to understand or acting like they trying to understand and got the right people in his camp to help him understand. I've watched Simone Sanders during this whole thing and how avid of a supporter of him she's been, and just everything she's been doing. And it makes me happy to know that he has a black woman in his camp who is making sure that he dots his I's and crosses his T's, which leads me to believe that he gonna be all right. And he's going to be all right. I think that Joe Biden is what our country need right now, Adrian. Like, we so divided. And it's like Joe Biden may not need eight years in office. He just may need that 4 to get us back together. And then somebody else is able to step in and, do they 4 years or they 8 years or whatever that looks like. But I think Joe Biden is what we need. This white man who comes from this privilege, who the white man respects him. Our people have some respect for him, but to be able to be that middleman to bring us all to get together because we're so divided at this point, I think Joe Biden is definitely what our country needs right now.
Okay. I think the same thing. I had endorsed him on my Instagram earlier because I was like, he was saying, "Wow, you gonna endorse him?" Yes, I'd rather have him than Trump right now. It's 100,000 people dead right now.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Why you out playing golf though? You at the golf course and my people dying. Like, let's be clear. Like, you ain't hearing that many white people dying. Like, my people, our people dying, bro. And you at the golf course. Like, yeah.
and you want to reopen. You also are author of your new book that just came out. Hey Little Girl, Hey Little Black Girl, It's Your World.
Absolutely.
So what I really wanted to know, what inspired, to you to start writing, books?
So what happened for me, Adrian, is I graduated from grad school at UMSL in 2015. And I was real big on the Greek scene in St. Louis and just being around a lot of people and, loving on them and them loving on me. And that put me in a place once I graduated that I just wanted to be apart from all of that. Yeah. And so I moved to my tiny little apartment in the corner of East Illinois. And I got really depressed. Dealing with depression and anxiety is serious. And again, when you grow up in a household where people think that because you depressed or you have anxiety that you crazy. And it's something that we don't talk about enough in the Black community. And I'm so happy now that that's not the case. Black folks are talking about depression and anxiety and mental health. They are owning it and saying, yes, we need help. Yes, we need resources. And so for me, and I was depressed for about 3 years, Adrian, but I was a functioning person with depression. Like, you go to work, you show up, you in the community, you show up, but I come behind that door and I cry and I'm down and I'm walking under this dark ass cloud, bro. And it's like, I don't know how to come from underneath that. And so finally in about 2018, I saw myself rising above that. And I wanted to provide a resource or a tool for young Black girls who may be at that point in their life, who may be going through some of the stuff that I went through. And so for me, one of the things I had when I was going through depression was I had Delta. My sorors always showed up and showed out in my life. But I had to understand that every Black girl does not get a Delta Sigma Theta village. Every Black girl don't have a loving mama and praying grandmama. Every Black girl don't have, 3 best friends that's going to hold on to her no matter what. So what I wanted to do was take those jewels that all of those people had gave me, put them in a book and give them to somebody else's little sister, daughter, child to help them along the way. So I wrote, Hey Little Black Girl, It's Your World. And I put it out there and it has done well for itself.
Yeah, it's great. I haven't got a chance to read it yet because I understand when you're talking about the depression part of it, because I was talking about Pam on my last, well, it hasn't came out yet, but I was talking to her about what I went through for about 1.5 years with homelessness and even coming out of the homelessness, how I was still in that mindset of being homeless, even though I had somewhere to lay my head. I didn't take a shower for about like 2 months because I didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
And that was and it was pretty hard. I couldn't tell nobody about it. And even my frat brothers, most of them know, my LBs knew.
Yeah.
But they did the best they could to help me, to move forward. But it was most nights where I'll be, in the car or at the airport or outside or going couch to couch. Yeah, that was most rough. So I understand that. And then when I got out of it, and then when I started to move forward and start to get stuff, and I started, to take showers, and I started to brush my teeth. And people like saying like, "Oh, you didn't take no showers." Like, mental, when you in that depression, like showers, to take a shower is big.
Yeah, it's draining. Yeah. It's the simple stuff. It's the simple stuff, bro, that is like, it just drains the heck out of you. And it's like, it takes so much effort sometimes to get up off the couch or just to get up out the bed. Like, people don't understand that. Like, depression and anxiety is real, bro. It's so real. Like, I still struggle to this day. I fight through. But I still struggle to this day. I got 2 people in my life. I say it all the time. I got 2, a male best friend and a female best friend. And when they see I'm about to go there, they pull. Like, nope, come on, nope, get your butt up. Come on, pull on out. So I understand.
So when you released the book and you gave it to the little black girls, what were like some of their responses? Like what are some of the testimonies that you got?
It's just so amazing because when I first wrote the book, Adrian, it was basically for millennials. So you talking anywhere between 25 and 36, 37 millennials. But the book has been successful with as young as middle schoolers to 70-year-olds have read the book and said, I got something out of this at 70 years old. I had my book launch and I had one of my friends, well, two of my friends' mom there, and she's about 50s, early 50s. And she said, I've read this thing from cover to cover a couple of times in the short time that it's been out. She said, and I get something out of it every time. And it's so amazing. And it's so amazing to get an email from people that you don't know and just lives that you touch. Like, hey, I've ordered this thing off Amazon and you said a quote that said blah, blah, blah. And it spoke to my life. It spoke to how I move in the workplace. It spoke to how I deal with my counterparts in spaces. It spoke to how I maneuvered when it comes to certain things. Like that was like super, super important for me at the end of the day. And so I think my biggest thing is just being able to pour life into other people, Adrian. I think that has been what has been so amazing for me.
I love that. Where can we find you? Where can we find you on social media?
So on social media, I'm really simple. On Facebook, I'm Fredrecka S. McGlown, Fredrecka S. McGlown, McGlown. On Instagram, I'm FreddieLove88, FreddieLuv 88. And then Black Girl Millennial World on Facebook, Black Girl Millennial World, and then on Instagram, BGMW 2018. So go follow me. I post some real dope stuff. Go follow my line sister too, shameless plug, Pamela. Anita Mary Davis is the queen of resilience. She is dope. When I tell y'all my line sister's so dope, she's so dope. But she's queen of resilience on all social media platforms. And what she doing for our people, Adrian, is dope. It's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy to learn so much stuff about her. When even when we talked after the show, we talked a little bit more, and she was just telling me like what she been going through. I was like, I had no clue because I haven't been paying attention. So, but I want to thank you.
Okay, dope. So I think that it was super important for me to find something that spoke to our times and find something that kind of spoke to a little bit of what we're going through and what we need to do and leave behind at this time. So one of my favorite excerpts from the book is on page 72. It says, legacy is fighting in a battle that you won't live to see the results, but it will affect lives for generations to come. So I said, the seeds we plant today will provide the harvest for tomorrow. We may not benefit directly from the harvest of tomorrow, but it will impact the lives of those who come after us. Each day, we are silently fighting battles that others have no idea we're fighting. Our ability to continue to fight those wars, even though we may not be present to see the outcome, shows that we are dedicated to causes that are far greater than ourselves. My challenge to my people: lead a legacy worth living. Every day ask yourself, if today was my last day on earth, will I have made my imprint? Aim to make a mark in everything you do. Aim to save a soul in everything you do. Aim to change a life in everything you do. Aim to not only see the change happening in the world around you, but aim to be a part of the change that's happening in the world around you. Others will benefit from the fruits of your labor. Therefore, plant those seeds that will be fruitful tomorrow. Aim to leave your footprint. So it's real simple. The work that you do today, those who come after you will reap the benefits of the seeds that you sow today. So that's my love.
Well, joining us, Miss everybody, Miss Fredrecka McGlown. I'll see y'all next time. It's your boy KJ coming to you live. I'll see you
Thank you.
Time. You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me. Time. You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me. Time. You just keep going, and one day you're going on without me. Time. Time, where you going? Come back. Every coin got two sides, every sword got two edges. Life began as one ends. How will I be remembered? Mortal man.